Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, restful, peaceful, tranquil weekend. Welcome to the Sean Ferrell podcast. I am Sean Ferrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. Domestic violence and mental health. People may not think there is a connection between there, but there is a connection between domestic violence and mental health. Okay. Just gonna read some stuff for you. 35 to 70% of women subjected to domestic violence are diagnosed with depression later in their life. Violence is among the largest contributors to mental health disorders. 20% of domestic violence survivors report experiencing an onset of psychiatric disorders from depression, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance use disorders, suicidal thoughts, and in the worst case scenarios, suicide. Witnessing and enduring abuse and scars. It scars the victims physically and psychologically. And people who endure traumatic abuse, maltreatment, are more I can't pronounce that word. Are more prone. Okay, I can't pronounce that word. Susceptible, prone, whatever, to develop into oppression. To cope with depression, domestic violence victims turn to substance abuse and drug addiction. Some of the effects of domestic violence mentally, of course, depression, suicide, thoughts of suicide, worst case scenario, loss of energy, changing appetite, changing sleeping habits, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, indecisiveness, restlessness, feelings of guilt or hopelessness, thoughts of self-harm, and in a worst case scenario, again, suicide. There's a direct connection for victims of domestic violence. Mental health is impacted by just about everything. Mental health is impacts you physically. Domestic violence, no different. 35 to 70% of women subjected to domestic violence are diagnosed with depression in their lifetime. 35 to 70%. 35 to 70%. Yeah. Something else that I wanted to talk about. There are some misconceptions about depression, general myths about depression that people mischaracterize depression. Just gonna read off some reasons. Depression is a sign of weakness. These are the myths about depression. Being depressed is the same as sad. You can't just snap out of it because you were told to do so. You need a reason to be depressed. Excuse me. You can't be depressed if you're still able to function. Depression is always triggered by something. Depression isn't a real illness. Only women get hit the depression. Depression is a sin as a result of not praying enough. If you eat well, you won't be depressed. I just want to talk about this. Being depressed is not the same as being sad. Number two, being sad is considered an emotion. Being sad is considered an emotion. And the feeling of sadness usually goes away within 1 to 2 weeks, so it doesn't last too long. Depression is considered mental. Depression is not any emotion, it's mental. So sadness is only one symptom of depression, but the other things like isolating, avoiding social situations, not texting, not returning phone calls, staying home from work because you need to sleeping more, or sleeping less, changes in eating habits, poor hygiene, not caring about personal appearance. So, no, most of those things aren't equated with sadness. Depression. You can't be depressed if you're still able to function. For those who watch my channel, how many times have I told you that depression hits you? Depression has hit me right out of work. When I'm at work, it just comes out of nowhere, and just bang. And the slightest thing that goes wrong, especially in hot weather, can really amplify your depression. So it can strike at any time. If you eat well, you won't be depressed. I'm a pretty healthy guy. Workout warrior. Eat right. Doesn't matter. I still get hit with depression. I'm still get hit with depression. Depression is always triggered by something. And it can just come out of nowhere. It can just come out of nowhere. 75% of people who end their life by suicide are clinically depressed. And one more thing that I want to discuss. I know people think, suicides rise in the holiday months, November and December. But those are actually some of the lowest seasons of lowest times of suicide. But when spring and summer roll around, there is a spike. There was a study done in 2015. In November and December, there were only 111 suicides a day for the month of November and December, which is still too much. But when March, April, May, June roll around, 128 suicides a day, which is too much. Sunshine, temperatures, humidity, partly because suicide rates are higher among rural residents and among those who work outdoors. Ironically, I work outdoors at my second job. 85% of the time I work, 85 to 90% of the time I work outdoors. So, yeah. And I'm also at risk for suicide. I'm at risk for suicide. Some of y'all probably already know this, but I'm on sertraline. How you call it? Sertraline? It's a mood enhancer that carries a really, really low risk of suicide, of like 10% of overwhelming thoughts of suicide in your head. So, no. I take my meds every day, so that puts me at a small risk for suicide every day. But I am at risk for suicide every day. So, all right. I think that's everything that I wanted to say. Hope everybody has a restful, peaceful, tranquil rest of your weekend. This is the Sean Ferrell Podcast. Out of here. Peace out, y'all. God bless.